Welcome back to State of the Nation. Residents of Dapchi, the Yobe community attacked on Monday, said that the Boko Haram gunmen that invaded their community had no other mission than to abduct the female students of Government Girls Science and Technical College, Dapchi. The Minister for Information, Lai Mohammed, is asking for more time to understand the situation. As at now, we're going to be speaking much later to Ahmed Kadri. He's a security expert. But joining me now is our correspondent, Channels TV correspondent in Damaturu, Jonathan Gopep. Jonathan, what latest information do we have? What we know at this time is that the federal government is asking for more time on that very important visit by the Minister for Information to Dapchi. What more do we know?
Well, the minister led a federal government delegation to Dapchi. He arrived at Dapchi and had a meeting with the state governor, just in a very brief 15 to 20 minute closed door session. And at the end of it, he told newsmen that that the federal government needs some time to address issues. Well, it was such a very brief interview that he could not explain further what he meant by giving more time. But the situation is that the people are so anxious and aggrieved that the information made available to them from the onset that the girls have been found turned out to be false. It was really disturbing for the parents and guardians who were on ground at the time.
Interesting, because what are you hearing from the sidelines? Because this latest attack on that girls' school would seem to suggest that we've seen something like this before. Would you say this is the same narrative we heard in April of 2014 from the federal government when the Chibok girls were abducted? Is this the same kind of narrative that people are saying is playing itself out again when you listen to them?
Yeah, honestly, it's becoming very, very identical with the Chibok girl. It started like a joke. We learned of the attack and we reported. We tried to substantiate to see if there's any case of abduction. Some of us who are really following the trend of events here knew very well that over time Dapchi has been a very, very quiet place. Dapchi has never been attacked by the insurgents. But the presence of the government girls' school in Dapchi, I believe, triggered their coming down. And there are more of such plural schools in Yobe as I speak. We have government, we have girls' schools in Potiskum, we have in Ganjarma, we have in Unguru. And, it is really disturbing because the parents, it will affect enrollment, and parents could try to, will be apprehensive of sending their children to school. So as this evening, they've formed some concerned groups trying to come up and put pressure on the federal government, the state government, security agencies to see that actions are taken. It shouldn't just go like the Chibok girls. It started like a joke, but honestly speaking, is becoming a little bit more serious than what most of us thought it would turn out to be.
Okay, but we also understand that the governor, Ibrahim Gaidam, did pay a visit to the Dapchi community to try to reassure the people that they will try to get those girls back and get more information if the girls are still hidden in the bushes. Has any one of them come back?
Well, for now, there has been no any of such case, but the governor said prior to his coming to Dapchi, that report told him that one of the daughter of his neighbor came back that morning. So the governor was saying some of the girls ran into the bush and they are in their hideouts. Some are trekking for very long distances trying to locate their homes, and one came yesterday morning before his arrival. So he was saying one of such kind of students will be around and is giving them the complications of giving accurate figure on a number of people abducted, or number of students abducted. Were they really abducted? If they were abducted, how many were abducted? All these are conflicting information that if students return, they don't even, the parents don't even get back to the school to notify them of their whereabouts. So it's really conflicting to come up with a figure.
Jonathan, stay safe. Brilliant. Thank you so much for talking to us. Let's now get the thoughts of Ahmed Kadri. He's a security expert. We'd been expecting him to make it to the studio with me here, but unfortunately he's having a traffic situation. Mr. Kadri, thank you so much indeed. We're able to get to you via telephone. Not to worry though. But only last week, the army said that it had further decimated Boko Haram, recording successes in the Sambisa forest. In fact, it rescued over 2,000 persons, including women and children, in its cleanup operations. If that's the submission of the army, why then has this large-scale attack happened, despite the decimation of Boko Haram? If you can hear me, Mr. Kadri, I was just asking you the question, why do you think that this large-scale attack happened again, despite the fact that Boko Haram, according to the Nigerian army, have been decimated? And as a matter of fact, when it did say that, it went ahead to mention the women and children that it was able to rescue in a cleanup operation in the Sambisa forest. I will try to establish that connection with Mr. Ahmed Kadri, the security expert on the very disturbing situation that we have in Dapchi, in Yobe State, where we understand that the girls who were taken away from their dormitory in the school have not yet returned to this time, and hoping that the government, the Yobe State government in the charge of Ibrahim Gaidam, the governor, will be able to give us more information. At the meantime, the government, the federal government, is asking for more time to be able to decipher the situation further and give us information on what is actually happening, and if they will be able to establish how many people, how many girls in this instance, were involved in this very attack by Boko Haram that we understand happened in the wee hours of the day. And some people already liken this to what has happened in Chibok in 2014, April of 2014, and are hoping that this will not go the same way, with comments just making the rounds on whether or not they were actually abducted in the first instance before it became a reality, and then an outcry bursted out world over calling for the release, and that went with the hashtag Bring Back Our Girl. Hopefully we'll not have this situation where we'll have to hashtag bring back the Dapchi girls as well. But I'm being joined by Ahmed again. He joins me via telephone. Okay, my apologies. I understand that he's not yet there with us. But that's the much that we have, and the understanding that Boko Haram is indeed still potent from this latest attacks that we have coming from Yobe State, that perhaps that there is movement from the Sambisa forest to other parts of the northeast, which is the hotbed of Boko Haram, and the Nigerian forces are trying to take control completely of that region. Ahmed Kadri now joins me. I want to thank you so much indeed. If you can hear me at this point, I'm just wondering that despite the fact that the army has submitted that Boko Haram has been largely decimated in the Sambisa forest, we still have this level of attacks on girls in their school. Do you think that something is amiss?
Well, it will seem that the government on its part has not covered all its bases, because Boko Haram still has the effectiveness to attack soft targets such as secondary schools, and basically, in my opinion, due to the fact that the government has not done its own homework. Why have these schools not been placed under proper protection all this time? Why do we wait to imbibe fire brigade approach to issues when they occur? So there has not been any preemptive measures to secure these schools in the first place. Yes, I do understand that schools in the northeast could be not closely spaced as we have here in the south. But then there are countermeasures to take.
My apologies,
so that,
Ahmed Kadri. I'm afraid that we're going to have to leave it at that because of time constraints that we're faced with. I do sincerely thank you for the attempts that come into the station here and for your contribution on State of the Nation. Mr. Ahmed Kadri is the security expert. Many thanks indeed for talking to us on State of the Nation. And thanks to you as well for being part of the show. I'm Imba Omar, and this is State of the Nation.